might be money or whatever, but that's not what you said. When I asked you to tell me what were the issues that the new church faced, you said language, the position that this church is going to have, what the archbishop was going for, Jacobus. So tell me a little bit about that. What was the archbishop thinking?
If you're going backwards,
yes,
we didn't have the kind of full package of who do we have? We weren't advanced in a table or understanding. When I first became involved
yes,
in the church, I was initially we were going to the knowledge of the not the Grand Rapids. We were involved in driving to go for church.
yes,
In Boston.
yes. And most people got tired of this, and that's when they started this church.
That's right. We had a few people who were. We had some. You have names of people who were always. You had people. You had the names of the people.
Yes, I do. Now, do you remember you used to keep company with Archbishop Jacobus?
Very much.
Okay. So what was he telling you about this new church?
I was the opposite. I knew more English, Greek. At that time,
yes,
I was in a very difficult.
But now we're talking about the period of time where the church was evolving, and you and Archbishop Jacobus used to talk about your thoughts about the church. So maybe you could share with Mandy some of your thoughts about what you and the Archbishop spoke about, Daddy, about what his hopes were for the church.
That's what I want.
And what you were talking about then.
Who's that, Jacobus?
Jacobus.
Yes,
You and Jacobus used to talk a lot about the church
well.
together, and he had a lot of views that he shared with you that you shared.
He had 3 or 4 young guys like myself.
yes,
We were young that we knew enough Greek.
yes,
We were not spelling to the open because we didn't have too many people. This is a very interesting time.
yes,
The wine was not going very well. The fact was, Jacobus was trying to see he's a lot smarter than, because he knew that he had a transition.
yes.
How is that transition going to take place? I knew a lot more about the Greek fascinating glue, but the younger people didn't know enough of the Greek.
Of the Greek, yes.
So I found it difficult in the first years.
I see. So what was he telling you he wanted to accomplish with these new churches that he was approving?
Oh, the first thing that he was very much. They were able to. It's a very interesting thing.
Yes.
In the church. And then when we started to build the first, we didn't have a church.
Yes, yes, okay.
We were right down at the end of the.
Yes, Lower Falls.
Lower
okay.
Falls, West
Okay. And
Lower
then,
Falls. But what was the hope for the church, Dad? What was Jacobus sort of
hoping to
accomplish with the Greek church and these new parishes in the
We
United
were
States?
on the
What was he trying to do?
Transition, yes.
Very, very transition. of the younger people. Of
How to get the younger people into the church, right?
We had some younger guys who were probably, you don't see all of them. You saw them by having very facing. I met some of the younger people, and this is a very interesting part. How many people were there on my age when I was, and so at the time when we were at the lower
Newton Low Falls.
Low Falls, yes.
Yeah.
there weren't that many people
Right.
who knew Greek.
Yes,
Not really.
yes.
And so this was it was aspirin.
Aspirational.
Yeah, and the fact was, that was, I don't think that there was a very, very great understanding of what these young people of 14 to 20,
Oh, yes,
But-
yes.
that's more, it wasn't really appreciated that when one group would go or come, the fact is you're going to lose the, and now it's coming to me.
Yes.
How else could, so what happened, we knew that we had, I became very involved
Involved?
to the to the people who were I was 18,
No.
19.
No, you were then.
No, you were much older.
Yes.
You were in
20s,
your 30s, you were in your
30s,
30s.
I was, but I was knowledgeable of the fact that we were thinking of knowing. I knew better to correlate, to rub my legs with somebody else. I knew some of the people who were 40, 45 years old.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
They were they were not. Then there were not any other. See, you have. This is interesting. I'm thinking of what happened.
Yes.
What happened was there was a disconnect,
Disconnect.
very much.
Because of what?
Τι
Θα
κάνεις?
σας φέρω καφέ και κάνα σπαρκοπιτάκι τροπιτάκι.
No, it's all right.
Μόνο καφέ. Α, παίρνετε. Όσοι.
Λίγο. Καφέ, άμα είναι καφέ, λιγάκι καφεδάκι.
Λοιπόν, το,
We were talking about this in the opening. Who was the group? There was a group. There was probably in the Saint Demetrius group.
yes.
There probably were 10, 15 who were between the age between 16, 17,
Yes.
and unless the Yayadas and the Papudas were more involved, because they knew they were losing it.
Ah,
They were-
so what was the solution,
the solution was,
Spiro?
if you didn't have, we never really talked about the dialogue amongst the. Yakovos was a thinker. He needed, in order to be able, money was not important. They needed to have a desire
Yes.
to do something. I spent time. I got into the. I got involved to the
The everyday life of the parish?
I probably at the age of 25 years old.
Yes, yes.
And you're figuring, and the older people, they didn't care to get involved because they were working.
Ah,
Now we have people who are involved,
yes.
and they were not as eagerly involved. But we had this transpan of
Transition, yes.
of the past there were some early students who finished the 21, 25, but they didn't have any things that you can get a hold on. And you had a few brothers here different people, brothers. Very, very, this is a dialogue of how do you, in fact, my wife was telling me of people who were our business when we built our first church.
Yes.
Very interesting. We built a church. And then, of course, Father Maricas.
Yes.
All these people were a great facility in being able to do it. And the more I think, talking with you, how did it happen? It was great because there was enough interest, excitement of being able to, and then you had some churches, you had the Detroit churches, because the churches, they didn't have the growth. They stopped. Some of the churches are not in existence today.
Yes.
And so very interesting. So now we're going back and saying, how do we get this type of
Dynamic growth. How did you do that?
Usually by having some people who became involved.
Involved?
No question about it. Education.
Yes.
Established with
Making
better,
the church pertinent to Americans,
Yeah,
was that part of it too?
Yeah. So
Yes.
it's very, very interesting. I mean, I don't have time to enjoy, because a lot of things took place. For example, you take Michigan.
Yes.
There are Greeks, enough Greeks, but there's not that.
Enthusiasm?
Not the kind that it's amazing. If you didn't have the theoretical things of how do we get our people done, you had the people, the priests.
Yes.
They're good. You had Father
Maricas?
Maricas. Very good, very good straight going, very dynamic, very good.
Yes.
Now, whether he brought them in, these people whom I got to know them very well.
Yes.
And we got to be friends. And then after that, we became involved with in a more upper thing, and then now we're with Yaakos,
Yes.
a different Yaakos.
Different area. Now tell me, what role did the language play? Here we have the younger group of people who do not speak Greek very much, except Grandpa and Grandma spoke. And so how important was the language for the new church? The English language, I should say.
This is a very interesting. It's not that they didn't give anything, but they let aside the Greek, laid out in the Greek linked together
Yes.
with the church, but the people who, my generation people, were involved. Don't give out the Greek, but make sure you don't let the Greek take over. It's very interesting.
Yes.
Very interesting. I look at the present church.
Yes.
I would say that he's sort of dropped part of the Greek.
Yes.
I think there are a lot of Tixerede.
Oh, there he goes.
Oh, jeez.
Kekuluraki. Oh my God.
There you go.
Yeah.
So
Thank
they
you.
are not
Thank you very
supposed.
much.
Yes.
What is wood?
Yeah,
No,
yes.
good, good, thank you.
So you're not abandoning the Greek language.
Well, here's the thing.
Yes.
Now you're going through a big change.
Yes.
This is more important to discuss because we're going through a wave of, but we're going through major changes of the outside between sports are changing the world, how that goes for here, it goes for England, it goes for the religion is still there,
Yes.
but they're taking a lot of, they have power in being able to control it's changed. I see the changes. I see the people like myself. I have grandchildren, and I see how they're